Well, hey everyone, we are here in our next state viewer question and answer series. I have no idea what my official title of this is, but we're here with Melissa from South Carolina, and she is going to be asking me 3 questions, whatever she wants to ask me. I think it's kind of fun. I haven't really put parameters on this. Maybe I should, who knows? But go ahead with your first question, Melissa.
Hey y'all, how are you? Kari, my first question, or it's more of a comment maybe. So about 16 years ago, I had a coworker whose son died in a domestic violence incident. So I went to the funeral. I went to the funeral home, and I was kind of shocked, I guess, because it was an African-American, and I had never really been to an African-American funeral home before, so I didn't know what to expect. The ceilings were really low. It was really dim. They still had the rose-colored lights, like every funeral has, but on the casket, it had a sign that said, "Do not touch." So a cousin of the decedent came in and went down and kissed him on the forehead, and the funeral director got really mad and told him that he could not touch the body, that he could read the sign, and that if he did it again, that he would be asked to leave. So the cousin was upset, of course, and is saying, "I can't believe they've done this to you. Why you?" And this kind of stuff. And the cousin bent down to kiss him again, and the funeral director actually made him leave, escorted him out.
Wow.
Could it be because some people look at embalming and the presentation as an art? The kid was not, he was shot in the body. It was not any, no reconstruction or anything like that. But it just caught me off guard because, I'd never seen, number one, the do not touch sign. And then number 2, a funeral director making someone leave because they actually touched their loved one in the casket. Because, being in the South, we always touch or kiss or whatever in a casket.
Yeah. That's one of those situations that it's me really just big guessing on it. Even though he may have been shot in the chest, if he laid for a little bit of a time and maybe had some discoloration and they had to use a lot of cosmetics for some reason, there might have been something that they didn't want the cosmetics messed up. A lot of funeral homes, if they're really concerned about that, will use the veil, which is that kind of netting that goes over the casket. It goes from the lid and it hangs down over, so that way you can't get to the deceased.
Right.
And so that will be used a lot. I've never seen a do not touch sign. Usually people will use the veil, which is basically like saying, hey, don't touch this person.
Right.
So that's really odd that they had the sign. And I can see that, if somebody is not listening and somebody is trying to do those things, kind of like a casket crawler, if someone was trying to continually get in the casket or overstep the boundaries of what they felt was comfortable, that they would remove that person. But I feel like there would be a reasoning, or maybe they would explain to the person, you need to please not touch them because of, like, if I have used a lot of cosmetics on an individual, I will let the family know, this is what, there's a lot of cosmetics here, there's a lot of cosmetics here because of her condition or his condition. If you want to touch her or him on the hands, I just need a few minutes before the public comes in so I can reapply that cosmetic. Or if it's something that's way extensive, I'll just tell them, you have to not touch them or kiss them or whatever. Veils are not common in our area.
Right.
Some funeral homes use them every single time. So it just depends. I would guess that there was a lot of cosmetics they didn't want him to have messed up. I've never seen or heard of a funeral director being afraid of people touching a deceased like that, but there's a first for everything, that maybe they just had some irrational fear. I don't know. That is odd.
Right.
So, or maybe the family just said, we don't want anybody touching him. too, that they just wanted people to stay away. But I feel like if you did that,
and that could have been the case.
yeah, that I feel like you would put up a rope or you would put up something, not just a sign. Like a sign really doesn't do anything. Especially if the director was going to be standing there, that I feel like
some type of barricade or something.
Yeah, just like a nice rope around, or I don't know. I feel like there could have been maybe easier ways, depending on what the situation was, to have that kind of barrier. But yeah, that is an odd situation. So, what's your number 2 question?
Yeah. So my number 2 question is, if someone is autopsied and they are not having a public viewing, do they have to be embalmed?
No.
Would the family be able to see them if they were autopsied?
Yes,
but not embalmed.
They still can. The funeral home may charge a fee for restorative something before an identification time, for suturing the head and kind of getting the person back together, because a lot of pathologists just put in a few stitches to hold like the cavity area closed, and just put in maybe even 1 stitch on the scalp to hold the head closed. So we, in order to get that person ready for an identification view, still have to open up the cranium, dry it out, suture the whole head up, set the features. So we still have work to do to get that person ready for that identification time. If they want them dressed, we still have to suture the whole chest, put them in plastics, maybe like undergarments even. So it really just depends. If they just want to do like a quick, just see their face, some funeral directors will just kind of put a towel around here, so all you see is their face, and that way they don't suture, they don't do whatever, which I feel like you should do that if you're going to be showing that person to the family. But some funeral directors will just wrap a towel, unzip the bag, let them see them, and then, so it kind of just depends who's viewing, situation, what a director may do. If they don't want to have to charge, if a family doesn't want to pay but they want to see them, they may just do the bare minimum to show the family that person without having to do all the suturing and stuff. It just depends, but you do not have to embalm. Kind of the same rules apply. You don't need to embalm unless the funeral home requires it.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's your number 3?
So my 3rd question is, I'm sure I'm not alone in this, because I have learned a lot from you just while watching your videos.
Thank you.
So have you ever thought about maybe later on being a professor at one of the mortuary schools?
I have. If the position would open up for like an online position, I would do it. I think it would be so fun. I do so much interaction with students now, because I have a Facebook group that has a whole bunch of students in it, and it's continually more and more and more adding. And so I feel like I'm teaching and I'm doing a lot. I just don't have a curriculum, and I don't have one area I speak in per se. So I think it would be really fun to do. I don't have a mortuary school near where I live, so I would have to do like an online, be one of the online professors or something, and maybe travel to be in the classroom once a month or something. Like if I worked in Detroit or Warsham or something that was a little closer, I could travel there maybe every couple weeks for a day or something. But I would love it. I love trying to better the future of the business, whether it's with students or just cultivating that passion and helping students kind of enter with the right mind frame and helping them find opportunities. There's a lot of students who have not been able to get shadowing opportunities or apprenticeships or anything, and just helping them make connections when they're feeling like they're not able to. I always make sure they've done their due diligence. I'm not going to do it for them, but if I know they've put the work in and they're just not getting somewhere, I've helped connect them to somewhere, and then it's up to them at that point. But helping them get their foot in the door if they've really not been able to, I'm more than happy to do that, because I know sometimes it's hard, especially the battle between the old and new generations right now is huge. It's a huge transition right now, because it is going to be a very different business in 10 years. And so going from that old traditional to this middle is going on, and then we've got this new batch of people coming in that are from different generations, different upbringings, different mindsets, and trying to make that all mesh together does not always go well. But I think it can go better than, it is with nurturing and cultivating and helping. So I'm trying to do my little bitty part, but I would love to teach at a school. I don't know what I would teach. What class would I want to teach? I don't even know. So Kari's Ramblings 101 would be like my class. I don't even know. But I think it would be fun. I think it would be fun to do. For sure. Yeah, it would be fun. So, and I love the students. I would get so attached to them. I'd cry every time they came and left, and oh goodness, it would be crazy. It'd be like they would be my little kids every time. So, because they've gone and spoke at mortuary schools and stuff, and every time I connect to a couple of the students while I'm there, and so I will text and I'll check in on them and see how they're doing. And you just kind of, once you're in my little family, you're in my family. Like, I just don't let you go. I'm kind of mama bear to way too many people. It's,
Right.
Yeah. But that's how my mom is. That's my mom to a T. So once you're in with her, she will take care of you until you die. So it's not a bad characteristic, I guess, to have. So, yeah.
It's not.
I appreciate this. We've had a little lag in your video, but I've been able to hear you clearly, which is good. So you may not love how your face has been frozen every time you freeze up, but when you watch the video back, but it's been great. It's been good questions.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Of course, anytime. Well, thanks, guys, and we'll see you later. Bye.